afternoon, everyone. And we are the group three. We will be further discussing or tackle our activity in regards to the feature of various kinds of marriage and ceremonies and their customs. For the first part, I'm Jessie Maris El Pico, and I will be discussing the overview of the chosen marriage ceremony and custom. So, for our group, our chosen marriage custom is nikah, which is the Muslim marriage ceremony covered by the Presidential Decree 1083 or the Code of Muslim Personal Law. So nikah isn't just a civil contract. It's actually a religious and social event. It requires mutual consent from both the bride and groom, a dower or mar, and two witnesses. So the ceremony is led by someone who is qualified under the Muslim law or a Sharia judge, which is mentioned in Articles 14, 15, and 17 of the Presidential Decree 1083. So we chose this ceremony because it has a special legal framework in the Philippines that honors and acknowledges the cultural and religious traditions of the Muslim community. So this is what makes it different from the civil marriage process under the Family Code of the Philippines. So for the next presenter,
Hello, I'm Faith Palmanal, and I'll be discussing the different significance of the customs, practices, and other symbols included in the Muslim wedding. So what was mentioned earlier is nikah. It is the main ceremony in Muslim wedding. It is where the bride and the groom sign a contract along with two witnesses. However, it is not confined with just two witnesses because the bride and groom's relatives or friends can also attend the said wedding. It is facilitated by an imam, and the signing of the contract in the presence of the witness and the imam legalizes the marriage under the Islamic law. So the Muslim matrimony is usually arranged by the parents and relatives with the bride and groom. In their practice or in their culture, women cannot marry outside their faith, but men can marry outside their faith as long as their children are raised as Muslims. So after the main wedding ceremony, they celebrate what we call as walima. It is a public celebration following the nikah ceremony right after the main ceremony itself or 3 days after the nikah. It is done so that the two families will come together and get to know each other over food. And this is when the parents give heartfelt speeches to the couple. So next is the significance of the rituals. So before the wedding, the bride is locked in one covered tent or what they refer to as the kubol, where she is kept there from her groom. This is the time when the audience listens to marriage sermon by the imam, and the groom was first to wed to the father of the bride because this serves as the assurance that he will take care of their daughter. So after the closing words, they will go together with white hanky to close the nikah, and they will parade towards the tent where the bride is located. Um, it was also mentioned earlier, the concept of mar and dowry. So traditional dowry is demanded by the bride's parents from the groom or his family, while the mar is the groom's gift to the bride. So the bride can choose from cash, travel, and other significant items from his groom to groom. So it symbolizes respect for the bride and her independence as well. So they also have, during the wedding ceremony, the ceremonial cord, or what they refer to as the yugal. It is wrapped around the couple in a figure-8 pattern, which symbolizes eternal bond. The lace veil symbolizes being clothed as one, and the arae, or the 13 points, which is given by the groom to the bride, which symbolizes the prosperity. So that's all for these concepts. Next presenter, please.
Good day, everyone. For the comparison between Muslim marriage as governed by Presidential Decree 1083 and marriage under the Family Code of the Philippines, we will focus on specific areas to highlight the similarities and differences in these frameworks. As to requisites, under the Family Code, individuals must be at least 18 years old and given pre-consent before a solemnizing officer to marry, ensuring both legal capacity and autonomy. However, Presidential Decree 1083 sets different standards for Muslims. Males may marry at 15, while females are eligible at puberty, generally presumed to be around 15 years old. In some cases, the court may permit marriage as early as 12 years old. This provision in Presidential Decree 1083 reflects an adaptation to Islamic customs, acknowledging cultural diversity within the law. As to marriage license, a marriage license is a required formality under the Family Code, as stipulated in Article 3. In contrast, Presidential Decree 1083 waives this requirement for Muslims, provided the marriage aligns with Islamic law. This difference emphasizes the respect and flexibility granted to religious practice within our legal system. As to ceremony, both laws provide flexibility regarding the form of the marriage ceremony. The Family Code allows either civil or religious rites under Presidential Decree 1083. However, the marriage is solemnized with a simple public declaration of ijab and kobal before witnesses as required in Article 17. This unique requirement captures the simplicity and communal aspect valued in Islamic marriage traditions. Last, in Muslim marriage, under Presidential Decree 1083, a dower or mar is a required element that the groom provides to the bride as a form of respect and security. This concept does not appear in the Family Code, which highlights a key difference rooted in Islamic tradition. Thank you.
Okay, for the analysis of marital vows and relation to the rights and obligations. So in Nikah, the vows are expressed as what Anthony mentioned earlier through hijab and kabul, which focus on mutual consent and the commitment to building a harmonious family life. So the vows may seem simple, but they carry a lot of weight as they establish binding responsibilities between the husband and wife under Islamic law. So, under the Presidential Decree 1083, the rights and obligations center on mutual respect, fidelity, and support. So, the husband is responsible for providing for the family, while the wife's duties are more focused on the household management and family care. This is stated in Article 34 to 36 of the Presidential Decree 1083. On the other hand, the Family Code also stresses mutual respect and support, but it requires both spouses to share responsibility for supporting the family, which is in accordance to Article 68 of the Family Code. So both legal systems emphasize mutual support and fidelity, but the Presidential Decree 1083 leans more towards the traditional gender roles. So when it comes to the managing of the household and financial responsibilities. So for the next reporter.
Okay, so the Nikah Muslim marriage is a custom, an important aspect of the Muslim culture in the Philippines. It's regulated by the PD 1083, also known as the Code of Muslim Personal Laws. This law governs the rights and obligations of the Muslim with regards to their marriage, divorce, and family relations. So in Islamic traditions, marriage is not just a legal contract, rather a spiritual union that is based on the mutual respect, love, and understanding. The Nikah ceremony is a solemn and religious event that is conducted by the imam or a religious leader who recites a prayer and blessings for the couple. Hence, Nikah is formalized through the ijab and kabul. The dower symbolizes the groom's responsibility and the bride's right. and Wali's presence symbolizes protection and family support for the bride. In addition to this, the Code of Muslim Personal Laws also regulates other important aspects of the Muslim marriage, such as the rights of the spouses, the grounds for divorce, and the custody of their children. Therefore, the Nikah Muslim marriage customs regulated by the PD 1083 and is a reflection of the values and beliefs of the Muslim community in the Philippines. It's a tradition that emphasizes the importance of love, respect, and commitment within the institution of the marriage, and it provides a legal framework for resolving disputes and conflicts within their family. By following the guidelines set forth in the Code of Muslim Personal Laws, Muslim couples can ensure that their marriage is conducted in accordance with the Islamic traditions and principles. And as they say in a nikah Muslim wedding, and we created you in pairs from the Quran 78 verse 8. Next, please.
So actually, that's it for our group's discussion in regards to the feature of various kinds of marriage ceremonies and customs. And again, I'm Jessie Maricel Pico.
I'm Faith Paulmanar.
I'm Anthony De La Torre.
I'm Danica Isabel A. Asuncion.
And with our two other group members, Ate Joyce San Leon and Ate Janica Calma, who are responsible for the PowerPoint presentation and the editing of the videos. So thank you so much for listening. I hope you learned from our group discussions.